There comes a moment when the word tomorrow stops being a promise and starts being a death sentence. It is a quiet, rhythmic treason, whispered into the pillow during that gray hour when the world is still cold, and your resolve is at its thinnest. You have said it so many times that it has become a lullaby, a soft, pathetic song that puts your ambition to sleep while your life bleeds out on the carpet. Behind that heavy curtain of sleep, you are already making deals with a ghost that has no intention of paying up. The debt remains. Staring at the ceiling fan in the dark, you tell yourself that 24 more hours of rest will provide the clarity you lack. This is a lie. Clarity is not found in the stillness of a bed. It is forged in the friction of movement. Yet here you are negotiating with the abyss. Is there anything more cowardly than a man who fears the sun? Probably not. You aren't waiting for a sign or a spark of inspiration. You are waiting for the fear to leave, and that is the most expensive mistake you will ever make. Fear is a permanent resident in the house of the ambitious. It never leaves. Lying there, you feel the warmth of the sheets against your skin, a velvet trap that feels like mercy but acts like a sedative. Comfort is the anesthetic of the mediocre. It numbs the sting of being nobody until you've forgotten that you ever wanted to be somebody at all. Why does the mattress feel so much heavier when there is work to be done? Because your spirit knows you're a fraud. It knows that every minute you spend horizontal is a minute spent burying your potential in a shallow, nameless grave. The digital glow of the alarm clock stares back with a judgment you aren't ready to face. 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes aren't rest. They are a rehearsal for a life of almost. In the silence of that room, you are committing a crime against your future self, stripping away the armor you should be wearing and replacing it with the rags of excuses. Do you honestly think the man you want to become is waiting for you in the land of dreams? He isn't. He is out there in the cold, disgusted by the version of him that is currently inhaling the dust of his own stagnation. Looking in the mirror after you finally crawl out of that tomb of cotton, the reflection doesn't lie, even if you do. The eyes look back with the dullness of a soul that has traded its edge for an extra hour of unconsciousness. Time is a predator that doesn't bark before it bites. It simply eats. It eats your youth, your hunger, and your window of opportunity while you're busy preparing to start. What exactly are you preparing for? A war that has already begun without you? Meditation on mortality isn't about the end of life. It's about the waste of it. Every time you utter the phrase, "one more day," you are spitting in the face of every man who took his last breath this morning, wishing for just 1 more hour. You treat time like a limitless commodity, a bank account with an infinite balance that you can drain whenever you feel a bit too tired. It is a finite, crumbling bridge. The planks are falling. Every second you stand still, another piece of wood drops into the black water below. Underneath the skin, there is a rot that begins with a single "not today." It spreads through the mind, turning iron will into wet cardboard. You think you're just skipping the gym or the book or the business plan. You aren't. You're training your brain to realize that your word is worth nothing. How can you lead anything if you cannot lead the man in the mirror? If your own promises are written in sand, why should the world offer you anything made of stone? The air in the room feels stale, thick with the smell of wasted hours and unventured thoughts. In the middle of this self-imposed paralysis, you wonder why you feel so hollow. It's because purpose requires movement to survive. Purpose is an engine that dies without the fuel of action. You are trying to start a fire with damp wood and a cold heart, wondering why there is no heat. Get out, move now. Beneath the surface of your daily routine, there is a growing cemetery of could-have-beens. Each tomorrow is a new headstone. If you could see the ghost of the man you were supposed to be, he would look at you with a cold, silent fury. He would see the phone in your hand, the thumb scrolling through the digital garbage of other people's lives, while your own life sits in the corner like a forgotten dog. Does it hurt to hear that? Good. Pain is the only thing left that can remind you that you're still alive enough to change. In the ancient halls of your mind, you've built a throne for a king who never arrives. You wait for a grand opening, a fanfare, a moment where the stars align and the path is cleared of thorns. Nature doesn't clear paths, it grows over them.
Thorns are the price of entry. If you want a smooth road, stay on the couch until you die, but don't you dare complain when the world forgets you existed before you're even gone. History is a ledger written in blood and sweat, not in perfect timing.
Think about the sheer arrogance of assuming you have another year, another month, or even another hour. The universe is indifferent to your plans. It doesn't care about your potential or the great things you say you're going to do when you're ready. It only acknowledges what is. And right now, what is a man who is terrified of his own shadow, hiding under the covers of a bed that has become a coffin. Is this the legacy you want? A footnote about a guy who had potential but preferred his pillow. The weight of regret is far heavier than the weight of the barbell. One is a burden that builds you. The other is a burden that crushes you. You're currently choosing the one that crushes. Every time you take the easy path, the muscles of your character atrophy. You become soft, pliable, a piece of human clay that the world will mold into whatever shape it finds convenient. A man without a now is a man without a soul. He is just a ghost haunting his own skin. Hell is not a pit of fire. Hell is meeting the person you could have become and realizing you have nothing in common. You are currently walking toward that meeting with a smile on your face and a one more day on your lips. Stop walking. Turn around. The transition from the dream to the reality is a violent one. It requires a shattering of the ego. It requires you to admit that you have been a coward, a procrastinator, and a traitor to your own blood in the silence of your own failure. Listen to the clock. That clicking sound isn't just measuring time, it's the sound of your life being chiseled away. One click, one less chance. Another click, another dream dead. You think you're being patient, you think you're being strategic. You are just being slow. And in the game of life, the slow are eaten by the obsessed. The world belongs to the man who can't wait, the man who is so insulted by the idea of mediocrity that he would rather break his body than accept a day of being average. Dust is settling on your dreams while you're busy dreaming them. If you don't wake up and move, that dust will become the dirt they throw on your casket. Does that sound harsh? It should. Truth doesn't have a nice setting. It is a cold, sharp blade that cuts through the fat of your excuses. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another book on stoicism. You need to put your feet on the floor and face the reality that you are currently failing. The treason of one more day is that it makes you feel like you still have a choice. You don't. The choice was made the moment you decided that comfort was more important than the mission. You can either stay in the dark, mourning the man you aren't, or you can step into the light and become the man you must be. There is no middle ground. The fence is made of razor wire, and it will tear you apart if you try to sit on it. Pick a side. Looking back at the end of a week, what do you see? A pile of completed tasks or a pile of excuses you've dressed up in suits? The week doesn't care about your feelings. The month doesn't care about your process. Results are the only currency that matters in the economy of the elite. If you aren't producing, you are consuming, and consumers are the prey of this world. Are you a predator of goals, or are you the prey of your own impulses? The mattress has become a quicksand. The longer you stay, the deeper you sink, and the harder it is to get out. You've spent so long being comfortable that the very idea of effort feels like a personal insult. You've become fragile. A little bit of rain, a little bit of cold, a little bit of criticism, and you fold like a cheap chair. Is that who you are? A man who can be defeated by a drop in temperature or a lack of sleep? If you were a soldier in a foxhole, you wouldn't ask for one more day of rest while the enemy was charging. Well, guess what? The enemy is charging. The enemy is age. The enemy is the competition. The enemy is the internal voice that wants you to be a loser because it's easier to be a loser. You are currently losing the war because you're too busy negotiating the terms of your surrender. Stop negotiating. Fight back. The trellis of your life is only as strong as the discipline you weave into it. Without it, you are just a vine crawling in the dirt, waiting to be stepped on. One more day is the vine killer. It is the frost that kills the harvest before it can even begin. You are the gardener of your own destiny, yet you are the one pouring salt on the soil. Why? Is the work really that scary, or is the thought of who you could be even scarier? Sometimes the greatest act of self-love is to be absolutely disgusted with yourself. Disgust is a powerful fuel. It can drive you further than inspiration ever could. Use it. Look at your bank account. Look at your reflection.
Look at your daily habits and feel the revulsion. Let it burn. Let it consume the one more day lie until there is nothing left but a cold, hard now. The light of the sun is hitting your face. It is an accusation. It is asking you what you plan to do with the gift of a new day that you did absolutely nothing to earn. Will you trade it for a few more hours of rest, or will you use it to build the fortress of your life? The clock is ticking and the world is waiting to eat you.